We seek inspiration and meaning from many faith traditions and philosophies. We support each other's lifelong spiritual journey, and we encourage work for justice and peace. We value open minds and loving hearts. Here, may our minds stretch, our hearts open, and our spirits deepen. If you're visiting MVUUC for the first time, please complete a blue information card located in the pocket in the back of the chair in front of you. So we can learn more about you and answer any questions that you may have. Please leave the card in a designated basket or area on the front desk. And if you'd like to receive our weekly email newsletter, which is the best way to know about upcoming events, please email Tina at news@mvuuc.org. So let us take a moment to greet each other here in person or with a comment in the chat box. Let us love and support one another. Say good morning.
Hey. Good, how are you doing, Robin?
Our chalice will be lit today by Rick Rogers. Please join me in the reading of the words by Reverend Dawn Shea Cooley for the lighting of the chalice. The words will appear as a comment in the chat box. We light our chalice this morning, grateful for the love that we experience in this beloved community. May the flame light the way for all who seek such abundance. For our first musical selection, I'll turn it over to Ted.
So today is a classical day. Happens every once in a while. And I was playing through some Bach at home, and I was playing through it on my keyboard, and I played it on the piano, and I also played it on the organ. And it's a radically different experience of the music to hear the same notes played on really different kinds of instruments. And I thought it would be cool to be able to share that experience. Just to give you a little demo of what it sounds like, if you play a bunch of notes in a row on a piano, because each one is decaying, getting softer and softer after the moment that you hit it, you can play them all in a row and hear it like a melody, even though I let them all ring. If I play that same thing on an organ, I played the first time, but now all the notes are stacking up on top of each other. In a sense, you can think of it on the organ, the past matters more than on the piano. So whatever you're holding down, whatever you played is going to stay there with you on the organ. And in this music in particular, it makes a really big difference in the interpretation and the way you experience the music, because I'll just give you the first measure on organ and the piano. The first measure on piano sounds like this. So it sounds like a long kind of fluid melodic line, twisting melodic line. But there are notes that are written to be held, which you can't really hear very well on the piano, but you can hear on the organ. So same thing, but organ and piano. So the music's written to be repeated. It has little dots at the end, which means repeat this section. So I'm going to play the same piece of music. Each half will be piano, and then organ, and then second half piano, and then organ. So it's just something to sort of listen for the difference that holding on to the past, if you will, can make in the way the present feels. I'm actually also playing the reverse order of music that I had on this for no special reason, other than I decided to do this one first now. I don't think it makes a difference to anyone but me, but I want to be accurate. So this is actually the second one that I have written on there. Okay, here's a little Bach for you all. I just learned it a couple days ago, so apologies if it's not shipshape.
Thank you, Ted. Beautiful. So our opening words today come from Proverbs 8:11. Wisdom is so priceless that it exceeds the value of any jewel. Nothing you could wish for can equal her. So what does the word priceless mean to you? And I want you to think about it, because I am going to be bringing the microphone around and asking you in a few minutes. Does it mean costly? Does it mean irreplaceable or precious? Something whose value just simply cannot be determined, like the Mona Lisa? To me, it's feeling secure. It's knowing that I am loved by my husband, enjoying good health, and believing in my financial security. But there are also certain memories that are priceless to me, and I'm sure you also have priceless memories. So I'm going to share one this morning. So back in 2014, my oldest brother, Bill, was hospitalized with pneumonia. And I took the day off from work and I drove down to the VA in Dayton to visit with him. Since it was a nice day and he had been in his room for the entire week, I took him for a spin in his wheelchair. And it was the first time that he had been outside of the room for many days. We toured the military history display down on the first floor of the hospital. And since it was such a bright and beautiful and warm day, I took him outside for a few moments of sunlight. When we were out there, we were talking about the campus, and he was saying that he didn't really even know where he was on the campus. So I started to push his wheelchair down the sidewalk outside the hospital door as far as it would go. And from there, we took the road down to another building and then to another building, and we started to explore the campus, which dates back to the Civil War. We talked about the architecture and the history of the Civil War, and we tried to guess when each building was built. In the distance, we could see, it was a very hilly campus, in the distance we could see the white markers of the National Military Cemetery, which we both ignored. My brother had been diagnosed a year or two earlier with ALS, and we both knew that his health would fail in the coming years. And that afternoon was so precious to me because it was a memory of just him and I together interacting. It was a memory of me being able to demonstrate my love for him. There was no bustle of a holiday and family going on around us that interrupted our being able to talk to each other. There was no schedule to keep. It was just us enjoying each other's company on a warm spring day. Unfortunately, today he's buried in that cemetery. He passed away in February 2017. But I will always cherish that memory of that afternoon that I spent with him. It was an opportunity to demonstrate to him that he was a priority in my life. So I ask you, what does the word priceless mean to you? I'm going to pass this microphone around, and I want you to describe either in a single word or a simple sentence or a very brief story what the word priceless means to you. has a microphone. And anybody who wishes to speak, please raise your hand. Yeah, Lexi.
Hello, my name is Lexi. It's my first time being here, and something that I find priceless is being around others who find worthiness of living and those who respect existence, because I have been around very bad people my entire life, and knowing that other people see something nice in existence makes me feel more accomplished as a person, knowing that others are out there the same as me.
Very good. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Robin, and then we'll come over here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Robin. I'll just go with a quick story. So a memory that I have from when I was very young is, even though my family didn't really like celebrate Christmas very much, my parents and I love Santa. I love Santa. My parents love Santa. And whenever we were at a mall or something, we would always go say hi to Santa. Even if we didn't, necessarily do the whole picture thing, we would just kind of from afar be like, "Hi, Santa," and wave at him. My parents, and it was very genuine. And that kind of ties in because my grandfather kind of looked like Santa, but I didn't realize that until one year, and this was in California in the middle of summer, and he visited and he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, did not look like Santa at all. But the little kids across the street, the moment he got out of the car, were like, "Oh my gosh, hi, Santa." And they were yelling at my grandpa. And he got so adorably embarrassed, his cheeks turned a bright red, which made him look even more like Santa. And so something I find priceless is yesterday I was at the Franklin Park Mall in Toledo, and I saw Santa. Santa was there, and there was nobody in line, and I kind of just awkwardly, as a grown adult, went up and I was like, "Oh, hi, Santa." And the lady was like, "You can go say hi to Santa, if you want." No, there was literally no one in line. So I got to go say hi to Santa, and it was just really nice because I think Santa is just a great symbol of, generosity and, goodwill and the spirit of the holidays. But also Santa does also remind me of my grandfather, who was also a very kind and generous and giving person. And so yesterday, it was just really, really fun. And I was absolutely beaming after I got to say hi to Santa for a few minutes. So that was a priceless memory for me.
Yeah. Steve over here. And I did see there's a picture of Robin with Santa on Facebook, and she does look very, very happy.
I'm going with a quick definition here. To me, priceless means it's something that you cannot pay for no matter how much money you have.
Yeah. Yeah. Megan?
I'll bounce off of what Laura just said. Just for me, priceless, when I think of it, it's a little bit more radical, but because we're always monetizing, and I was talking to John about this, how just the Christmas season makes me very weary because of the consumerism and the materialism. And so for me, pricelessness is about getting beyond that. Something that like Laura said, something that money can't buy, but just something that is absolutely beyond that sort of crass version of valuation. It's a different kind of value. Something you,
yeah. Good point. Steve, Lisa, behind you.
For me, it's along the same lines as what Megan is saying, it's time. So it's time you get to spend with people that mean a lot to you. To me, that's priceless, more than, and it doesn't even matter what you're doing, the fact that you're together, and there doesn't have to be money involved in what you're doing, right? just time with people that you love and that you care for.
Yeah. very
That's
good.
priceless.
Yeah. I often think about, did I say or do something today that changed something for somebody or helped somebody? Did I give them an encouragement that they really needed in a moment, kind of thing? So, yes, please.
So a little kind of take off on what Megan said, that, I think about this a lot with just the environment and
Can you put that closer to your mouth?
Sure, okay, how's that? So just to take off on what Megan said, I've been thinking a lot about just, with our planet the way it is, and that nature is pretty priceless, and it just goes back to indigenous people. When we first came over, they were just completely puzzled, like, how can you buy and sell land?
Yeah.
And I just think that if we'd taken more of their paradigm, we wouldn't be in the trouble we're in today.
Yeah. Yeah, this earth is priceless.
I have one about giving time and attention, and maybe not realizing that you're in a priceless moment until afterwards. So I was teaching young children who were ages like 3 and 4, and there were always the 3 kids who had to stay for the afternoon. And so sometimes the afternoon would get very long. And so one day we were outside, and the school was on a large campus, a campus built more for high schoolers than for 3-year-olds. But it can be a wonderland if you get out there. And so they said to me, let's take the chalk and let's draw the longest line in the world. So we did. And it takes a lot of green chalk, and it had to be green because that was the only color. And 3 of them worked together. You know how the chalk gets down to the nub, and then you're scraping your knuckle on the sidewalk. But we went down the stairs, down the line, around the tennis courts, and it was like the most magical afternoon ever. And they were not my children. They were just children with open hearts and ideas.
Yeah, beautiful. Over on this side?
John, are you stretching?
Stretching or raising his hands? We're not sure which, yeah.
I almost didn't share this because my mom and my wife basically said similar things. But I thought the way I was going to word it is, priceless things are things that either could not exist or would be ruined once you ascribed monetary value. So like, imagine the priceless moment of your first kiss and reimagine it if you had paid for it.
Oh, yeah.
That's no longer priceless, it's just perverted.
The first
so I
kiss
think
is wonderful.
Ascribing monetary value would make it not exist or destroy it.
Yeah, I remember my first kiss with Rick. In a parking lot, right, baby? Anyone else? All right, thank you very much for sharing. Today's topic addressed our first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Every human life is priceless. If I ask you to name all the things that you love, how long would it take you to name yourself? I like that. I found that. Boom. Okay, so now we pass the offertory basket. We welcome you to donate cash or via our PayPal link using the QR code on the screen. Do we have a QR code? I don't think so. Please note that what predominantly supports this congregation are the annual pledges of our members or friends, and the yellow cards located in the pockets, in the front of the chairs in front of you. You can use that to indicate your support and place it in the offertory basket. We encourage anyone that believes in our mission to consider becoming a member and to pledge support.
Am I on? Oh, now I'm on.
Yeah.
So for our offertory music, I think they got conflated, but that's okay. I'll just put them together. I'm going to do another little classical demo. I hope you don't mind. This is another piece by the same composer, but instead of doing two different instruments with the same piece of music, I'm going to do two different speeds with the same piece of music. So with two different instruments, you could hear the way notes that fade away can really stack up on top of one another and affect one another. It's the same kind of thing with time, which is when you play fast or slow, you pay attention to different things. When you play slowly, you can have your attention on the connection between individual notes. Oops, my keyboard's off. Huh. That's funny. I played some notes. I'm not used to that on an acoustic piano. You play notes that make sound. Here, I play. Okay, so it was making sound in my head though. So if I play slowly, we can have enough time for our attention to move around to different notes one by one. But if I play, you kind of get the shape of it, but not the individual notes so much. And so for this one, it's a shorter one. I'm just gonna do the two halves, slow, faster, slow, faster. If I looked at it for more than a couple days, I'd say slow, fast, but I'll just say slow, slightly faster, slow, faster, because I'm not confident enough to really up the tempo the second time around. I've done this with my students too before, where I'll ask them to listen to a piece of music at half speed, regular speed, and quadruple speed. And you think that listening to a piece of music at different speeds would just be complete nonsense, but actually it's just different pieces of music at each speed, or you notice different things about it at those speeds. Okay, so this is the other piece of J.S. Bach.
I have to say that being able to play the piano like that is priceless, isn't it? My goodness. So now is the time for joys, concerns, and milestones. Tina, would you please pause the recording at this time?
Wow, so many loud buzzings.
We'll take a little moment to sit quietly together.
Are from a writer, Melanie M. Coulouris. Life is a beautiful collage of priceless moments and memories, which when pieced all together creates a unique, treasured masterpiece. Please join me in the reading for Extinguishing Our Chalice. Rick? Life is a series of moments. Make them count. The most precious things in life are not things, but moments. Now is the time for announcements. I have two, and then I'll turn it over to anybody else who has announcements. My first, yes, we're going to continue with the yoga on Wednesday evening. So Wednesday and probably the following Wednesday, and then as we get closer to the holidays, we'll see. But at least the next 2 weeks, we will have yoga at 6 p.m. On Wednesday on Zoom. The other announcement I have is about a chair. We have a big fluffy chair. It's a lovely TV watching chair. It's in good shape, but we have an apartment and we've decided yesterday, it's just, we have too much furniture and we had to get rid of something. So we have this free chair. Anybody wants a chair? Okay, now you have to have we need like a van or a truck to put it in. Do you have an SUV? Yeah. That would work? Okay, well, let's be in touch. Good, it's a free chair. Free chair, excellent. Well, and this one, you can curl up and, oh, it's lovely. It's got these big arms. So, great. Anybody else? Yes, Megan.
Hey, it's me again. In our anti-racism reading club reading group meeting this past week, it was suggested that rather than me just reminding you that we have these anti-racism discussion groups and reading group meetings, that I actually give you sort of like a report of what we have covered, a little update. And don't worry, I'm not going to like read to you or anything, but we are reading this very, very interesting book called Mistakes and Miracles, Congregations on the Road to Multiculturalism, and it's about UU congregations that are trying to navigate, anti-racism, inclusion, becoming more multicultural, or, at least confronting obstacles to multiculturalism. And one thought that I wanted to share today from one of the early chapters of the book is the idea that Unitarian Universalism's core message demands that its people work toward building multicultural, anti-racist, beloved community. And that is a term that Martin Luther King Jr. Is credited with coining. And the question that we've really been grappling with is, what in Unitarian Universalism's central theology requires us to do this work if we want to call ourselves Unitarian Universalists? So that's my anti-racist thought for you for today. I'm also going to be revamping the anti-racism resource of the week, so look for that in this week's newsletter. Thank you.
Just a quickie announcement tonight from 5 to 6 is Drum Circle here at the church. If you want to come and participate, we have lots of extra instruments.
I'm just gonna real quick, since there are some new people in the audience. I think we're gonna do a movie night for December, but we don't have a date yet. But I'm trying to, in between finals and holidays, come up with like a good date, which might be a little interesting. So fellowship might not be doing as much throughout December, I feel. We will have a game night for sure. The 22nd at 7 o'clock. But we might do a movie night that is going to be TBA. If you remember David Love's friend Larry, he recommended Home Alone, which I think would be a good choice for the holidays. And then also kind of fellowship, kind of my own thing. Still going to do a Dungeons and Dragons group, hopefully in person, starting at the end of January. If you're interested, just let me know. Okay, thanks.
Hi, I'm Robin. I thought I'd give a little context to something in the newsletter that Megan put in, which is a link. Our daughter is a paper maker, art studio collaborator, which is a really cool job, in Brooklyn. And her nonprofit, the nonprofit for which she works, Dio Dene, is in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And part of their mission is to work with all kinds of artists, and as time has passed, more and more artists of color. And upcoming is a webinar with an indigenous artist named Kanupa Hanska Luger, who lives in New Mexico, was born on the Standing Rock Reservation. And it occurred to me after we had the Beyond Feathers talk that here's an opportunity to hear from a contemporary artist who is Native American, whose exhibit opened in Nevada in October, and with whom our daughter worked to make this happen. It's called Speechless, and so the kinds of things he's working on is how do you use art to talk about who is speechless, who is muted, all of those kinds of things. And she, I know, actually helped to make paper feathers, which are part of the exhibit. So anyway, it's a you pay as you want to kind of thing, $0 to $10. You click on it, you get a Eventbrite ticket, and you are on your Zoom for 45 minutes, and then there are questions. So that's where that came from. It may look like it came out of nowhere, but it was as a result of that talk a few weeks ago. Well, there's a link in the newsletter. You're welcome.
All right, very good. So after the closing song, I invite everybody to stay in person for the meal and some coffee and some good conversation. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yay. All right, thank you. Oh, manja, manja.